my name is Henry. I'm back. I'm making another video, and today I'm going to talk about a few things. So, this video doesn't really have like an order or a list or a kind of like a program or a plan, and I hope I'm in focus because if not, I'll have to refilm this whole thing. But I'm just going to give a little bit of my situation right now and why I've turned to YouTube as a means of kind of escapism and dealing with the various things that I have encountered recently. So right now I'm a sophomore in college. I'm 19 years old. I went to a small liberal arts school in the Midwest. Right now it's almost October, so I went to the school for a year and a month. And the year prior to going to school, and this school is about 2,000 miles. I live in Oregon, as maybe this sweatshirt has subtly suggested. During my high school year, my senior year of high school, I got addicted to opioids. In particular, Vicodin, oxycodone. My mom had a surgery, my grandma had a surgery, so there were tons of pills lying around, and it started one day with I had a really bad headache, and I've always been kind of a hypochondriac, and I thought, oh, this is like a super strong Tylenol, and I took it, and it got rid of the headache, and it also gave me a feeling like all my stress and my anxiety and my worries were gone, a feeling of warmth and comfort and euphoria. Well, that did not, as with most artificial feelings like that did not end well, and I heavily abused those drugs for around 5 months until I eventually told my parents because I ran out and I was sort of going through withdrawal, and there was a whole like Mother's Day incident senior year. So ever since then I have been definitely susceptible to substance abuse. Throughout this whole time I did start using marijuana very, very rarely in high school, probably like once every 2 months, and I drank alcohol probably equally as rarely. It was, like high school parties, and you'd get shit-faced, and you'd do stupid things, and yada, yada, yada. So, damn, my back really hurts. See, I am hypochondriac. I think I have like back cancer or something. No, I don't, God forbid. But, on the Bible, hopefully. Anyway, I have a lot of kind of distorted thoughts right now, and I'll get to that later. But, so I went off to college. I'd been a few months clean. I've been about 4 months clean, mainly because I've been seeing a psychiatrist. I had been prescribed an antidepressant, which helped with anxiety, which I'm still on, and I'll make another video talking about that later. And I went off to college. And the first few months of college were great. Probably some of the best times of my life, besides an exchange program I did, which, again, I'll make a video on that later. And in college, I succeeded really well. So the way the college worked is that there were 3 quarters. Doesn't make any sense. I don't know why. But you're not eligible to take classes during the summer, but they divide the year into 4 sections, and there are 3 quarters. The first quarter, I partied a lot. I drank a lot with my friends on the weekend. I made tons of new friends. I had romantic relationships. It was, typical start of college. Now, second quarter was my first Midwestern winter, and where I live, Oregon, winter is very rainy and kind of dreary, but in the Midwest, as people know, winter is much more like cold and snowy, and I started hanging out with a lot of people who ate edible marijuana, and I would eat marijuana every day, and we would play video games and a bunch of other things. That quarter, my grades deteriorated. I went from a 4.0 student to a barely passing. I literally was like a point something away from getting a D in a class, which wouldn't have made me eligible to get the full credit, and I knew there was a problem. Then third quarter, I kind of got my act together and was still using, but much less. Now, throughout this whole time, in December, I was diagnosed with epilepsy, general absent seizures, and I've had 4 seizures since. And this fall, when I went back to school, I had 2 seizures, and I started abusing drugs. I ordered drugs online and I started using them because I thought that they would help with the seizure. The heavy marijuana use had made me very paranoid, and I was convinced that my anti-seizure medicine was in fact giving me seizures, so I was buying these supplements, which were not supplements, they were chemicals, research chemicals. Don't do that. And I basically don't remember a whole week, but I went really crazy. I didn't really hurt anyone else, or I talked about killing myself quite a bit. I was very depressed. I was very suicidal, the whole deal. And I ended up institutionalized in a mental hospital, in a psychiatric hospital for 5 days. And although that was kind of, by the time I have the hiccups. By the time I got to the psychiatric hospital, I had like all the sketchy drugs I had ordered were out of my system, so I was in a much more clear mindset, and I was very sober. So I didn't really need to be there because most of the people there had schizophrenia or other serious mental illnesses, whereas I have mental illness, but not of that nature and not of the need for constant care. And part of the reason why I ended up there was my boss observed this behavior, and I love her. She's a chaplain. I worked in a interfaith job, and she was a huge support system, and she took me to the counseling center, and I got institutionalized. And I will make a video later about what it is like to be institutionalized. So after about 5 days there, my mom got me out. I came home. I've been home since. Most of my friends are in college, or they're in other places. I don't know if I'm going back to the college that I went to. I certainly had very easy access to drugs, and although a lot of people can use marijuana safely, I could not. It brought out paranoia, it brought out thought disorder, and it was a whole mess. So, the purpose of this video is to kind of give you a background of who I am, where I am, and why I made this channel. But this is just kind of documenting my story and my life and my progression. And hopefully, if people are in similar situations, they'll be able to use this as a resource. There are some other videos on here with like mild political commentary. Those are like much less kind of like the keynote of the channel. But sometimes I do make them just because there's some dumb stuff that happens politically. Anyway, I hope you I hope you didn't enjoy this. It's not a very happy story, but I'm getting through it. I'm making my way. I'm making progress, and I'll keep you all posted. And together we can all get through the hardest times in our life, be it through faith, lack of faith, therapy, whatever. And that's all I have to say. I hope you all have a great day, and talk to you later.